Hello and welcome to The Franchise Life. I am your host, Stacie Shannon. Today, we are highlighting an emerging brand called sugaringLA. And with me today, I have Rachel Stender and Marisa Kochnover with sugaringLA. Welcome, ladies.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, what a beautiful lineup I have today. So excited. All right. So sugaringLA, an emerging brand, 5 corporate locations in California. This is a space that is a huge, just a huge industry. So I pulled some metrics from Statista.com that says the global market value for natural and organic cosmetics and personal care in 2023 is $39 billion. By 2031, this market is anticipated to grow from that $39 billion to $58.6 billion. That is only 8 years away and significant growth. So ladies, what is sugaringLA? Rachel?
sugaringLA, I think Marisa actually says it best. She came up with the best descriptor. It is the Whole Foods of European wax centers. It's the Whole Foods of hair removal as we know it. It's the people that are looking for a clean, better way to remove hair from their body. And it truly is for everybody. It's for sensitive skin. It's for any type of skin. It's healthy. It's natural. We use all organic products. But it is simply hair removal in a different technique, different ingredients, but natural, healthy, organic, and better for you.
So when you mention natural, healthy, and organic, what does that mean to the end consumer? What is that wax product or sugar product comprised of?
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually organic sugar, lemon, and water, and that's it. So it's combined into a paste, and we have different levels of paste depending upon what part of the body is being sugared, what the hair type is like. So there are different types of paste involved, but it's simply that: sugar, water, and lemon.
So where does the proprietary aspect come in of the brand?
That's a great question. So Danielle Correa, our founder, she has used the proprietary recipe for this mixture that she has had for the past. She's been in business since 2011, so that's part of her. Just part of her operations. But another proprietary part of sugaringLA that really has this brand standing out and setting the franchisees up for success as the institutional knowledge that Danielle is bringing to this, and the proprietary technique that she's developed that she likes to refer to as smart sugaring. And essentially what that is it's a particular way in which each service is performed, but to the layman, basically, the whole process is faster, it's less painful, and it's more effective. She can do shorter hair more often, so you don't have that yucky grow out period that a lot of people can't stand. So it sets the studio apart from other hair removal offerings.
So I've been a consumer of this type of service before, but more from a waxy, never tried sugaring, which I'm really excited to at some point here. But what I love about this business model is it's very much a recurring revenue business model. Mm-hmm. Once you start this, it's kind of like lashes. Once you start this, you don't want to stop, right? You don't want to go back to the old way of doing things. Mm-hmm. So that's where the recurring revenue aspect, I would imagine, is a very strong attribute of this business model.
Very much so.
Yeah.
We launched an official membership program this spring that's been very successful. Prior to that, it was a discount when they would rebook. And hair removal, I would say, is even more of a necessity than lashes. I love lashes, but when it comes to hair removal, it's not as if you can wait or take time off. You're always going back for hair removal. And with that timing, it's just important to keep that cadence. So that monthly membership is an ease of use for our clients. It's not expensive. Our California locations right now, if you're doing a Brazilian or extended bikini membership, it's $65 a month. So it's very minimal, but it's maintenance, and it just allows them to come in. There's discounts on products and additional services, but we've seen an enormous reception to it. I wish we could share the numbers, but we can't. But it's been very successful, and it really drives customer loyalty and continues to bring people in the door.
So Rachel, in that $65 a month, is that one visit that a member would come for? And is that the typical length of time that is desired between services per se?
It depends on the person. So usually people will come in every 3 to 4 weeks for their next appointment. If they've been coming for years, it might be more like 4 to 5, but 3 to 4 is your average consumer. We have some that do come every 2 weeks. Those are the people that don't like any hair ever really showing, and they're going to get the hair in a different stage of growth when it's starting to break through the skin, which also will start to make your hair more fine and thin and more sparse over time. So there's a lot to it that Marisa and I don't think ever really knew until sugaringLA. But because it's a service that you are going in for, it's not just the hair removal, it's the exfoliation of your dead skin cells. It truly makes your skin feel like baby skin. It softens, it exfoliates, it's healthy for you. So they would even say that even if you don't have hair, but you've been in the sun a lot, sugaring is something that's really good for your skin. So it's not like waxing where it takes off live skin cells and where it can break a lot more hair follicles and cause irritation and redness. So it's a very appealing service for people.
Really?
And the sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. Go ahead, Marisa.
I was just going to add to that because we do have the recurring revenue, the membership model. But in addition to that, we also offer packages, which are ideal for clients that Rachel's referring to, people who are looking, they might not have as much hair regularly that they want to remove, or they're looking for the added benefits of the skin conditioning and exfoliation. So there's package options for them as well. So we really are able to hit the demand from both ends.
So I love that on the sugaringLA website, you call the individuals that perform the services sugarists, which is really fun. So what type of experience or accreditation or background do the sugarists need?
So they're either cosmetologists or estheticians. We can go either way. But then we, of course, have our own training because they don't actually learn sugaring in beauty school, either the profession. So we provide that. Obviously, we have a whole training program that's baked out so that we can get everybody up to speed and ready to go.
Awesome. So let me ask you this. When somebody is reviewing this business model and comparing it against other offerings in the health and beauty space, what do you think sets sugaringLA apart from others in the space?
Well, my first thought is that this is not a want to service. This is a need to service. Hair always grows back, and we love the beauty space. I mean, obviously, we have a bunch of beauty brands and we love them, and they do wonderfully. But some of those are more of like that want to aspirational type service, where this is just that service you need to continue to do all of the time. I think the other component to this is that while we do fit into the beauty category, we fit into the wellness category, because this is not just geared towards women or a particular beauty service. This is the way we position Sugaring LA and Sugaring services are skincare for everybody. So our marketing and the way in which we present ourselves is really, we're here for people to come feel good in their skin. So it's more of it fits into both categories, I think, in terms of beauty and wellness.
Well, I think that, you said it's for everybody. And what really stands out when perusing the sugaringLA website is this is not only targeted for females, which I think there could be a misperception in that area that it is primarily a female offering. But the website clearly shows the offerings for male and female. Rachel, do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Absolutely. And you're right. We do have about 20 to 30% men coming to our studios at this point in California. And that can be more or less depending on the area that you're in. But men are looking for solutions as well. And the only hair that we will not do will be really the bearded face. We'll do up on the neck and then the head. Because the head, the way the hair grows is just differently than the rest of the body. But otherwise, we have men use all of the services. So anywhere that a woman would have hair growth, we can also sugar for men. And we have packages for men. We are a very welcoming space to male or female of any age too. So if you're bringing a teenager because you want them to have a good experience with hair removal, or it's a man, or it's your grandma. Everyone is comfortable in a sugaringLA. When it comes to sugaringLA, it's not about the location. It's not LA. It's more of that aura. You're thinking of the beach, the waves, the sand, the surf. We want you to feel relaxed and rejuvenated and just that real lightness when you come into the studios.
Well, that's a great segue then, Rachel, to talk about the footprint and what a sugaringLA studio would look like. So you've described the experience of what, the goal is for the end customer or your client to experience. But from an investment standpoint, Rachel, can you just touch on, certainly this is a brick and mortar investment, and what that looks like from a footprint and build out standpoint.
Sure. Yeah. So our footprint is small. Our locations, once candidates are learning about sugaringLA, the ones that are open are 2 to 3 rooms. The problem we've had with that is that we're turning away so many people, and we could easily fill up another room during the busier times, many of the days. So our core footprint with our franchise model is 4 to 6 rooms, but it's still a very small space. You're looking at 1,000 to 1,300 square feet with those 4 to 6 rooms. There's a small lobby welcome area. There's a little bathroom, but other than that, very straightforward rooms. What I also love about the build out, and I always speak to the simplicity, not just of the business model, but your actual location. You have pots of sugar paste, and those pots of sugar paste are just in little warmers. And again, it's body temperature, so it's not hot, but in the rooms. Other than that, you have your bed, and we have some very nice bed covers that are a almost soft vinyl leather feel. So we can clean them off with hospital grade wipes, and you don't have linens to wash. You don't have towels. You don't have any of that. The only towels you have are the ones that we're using with water to wipe any sugar paste off. So it's a very simple setup when it comes to room. Aesthetically, they're beautiful, very airy. Just think beach colors and sea glass. And that's a little bit what it's like.
Well, we definitely need one here in West Palm Beach then, because it would fit in perfectly with,
it would.
with
the
our...
other thing, Yeah, if I can comment, sorry. The other thing that makes it easy for someone that might be a little bit terrified of a build out because they have never done it is that we also have a real estate and construction project management team that's from the time they sign their franchise agreement, they're holding hands through the whole process. So as a franchisee, I can focus on hiring my team and training and marketing and digging into all those things and making sure my community is aware that I'm coming, but I don't need to worry about my build out because we have experts on that side of the fence to be able to take care of that in the best way possible. So that's another piece of simplicity to the model.
No, that is a great addition because that is something especially when I'm talking to new business owners, that have never invested, don't know what business ownership is like. That real estate piece can be a very intimidating part of the investment. So that is fantastic. So let me ask you, Marisa, who is your ideal candidate? What type of investors are you looking for to partner with?
It's a great question. So we are looking for a range of candidates, right? So because of the modest investment, we are seeing people who are looking for multi-unit opportunities. So it's really, we've had quite a range, but it's people who do have an appreciation for the skincare and wellness industry and are interested in being that spokesperson and really the face of the brand within their community. Even if, they're hiring a manager and they have somebody else running the business for them, they're looking to be the ambassador. This brand is ultimately going, as Rachel mentioned, this brand, we have big goals. We're pretty confident in what we're going to be able to do. And being that this brand will ultimately become the Whole Foods version of something like the European Wax Center, we want people who are proud to take that ride, right, and wear that brand on their chest. But besides the larger multi-unit owner, this also is a suited opportunity for somebody who's looking just to get in and get started, maybe even on their first franchise, because again, it's a simple, streamlined model with a small footprint, and the investment is more on the modest side for a brick and mortar. So and we have that semi-absentee option, right? So somebody who's looking to have a manager run space, but then we do have that owner operator opportunity too. Someone who really wants to dive in and become a part of their community and bring this service in. Show everybody there's a better way.
Awesome. So you've touched on the low investment, which, when talking about brick and mortar, franchise opportunities, sugaringLA is definitely on the lower end. And again, that goes to what you ladies have talked about is the simplicity of the business model. There's not it's not capital intensive by any means. Simple room build out, a reception area, bathroom, and so forth. So the total investment ranges between $294,000 and about $389,000, just under $389,000. And really, the variable in that is going to be your real estate, because the other costs are going to be pretty consistent regardless of where you open in the United States. But that real estate piece is really the wild card there.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing, I want to back up just a little bit, because one thing we did not cover is the various revenue streams. And I think that's very important. We talked about the sugaring, which is obviously the the bread and butter of this brand.
Breakfast in bed.
Yes. But Rachel, do you mind just touching on the other revenue streams of the model?
Absolutely. So we do have products. Products, it's not going to be a huge part of the business. Your sugaring services will still be the core of your business. But what I love about the products is that you don't need to carry a line in your studio that's for dry skin and oily skin or acne prone skin. The products work for everybody, and they do work for everybody. So there is about 11 or 12 products at this point that are consistently used and recommended. But the key is that our sugarists are using a prescriptive way of helping our customers realize what their skin needs. What do they need to do in between appointments to make the service that much better, to make their skin better, to allow for better hair growth and deter any ingrowns that might be coming, or any redness or any issues that they have along the way. If their skin is more dry or if it is more oily, there's so many things that can be done. But that sugarist isn't someone that needs to be a salesperson. They're more of an educator, because our sugarists just want to make the whole experience better for our customer base. So the product purchases really come naturally to our customers. They're leaving with the desire and honestly excitement of being able to use the products because they feel amazing, they smell amazing, they're extremely effective. I can't begin to comment on that. I don't think Marisa and I can ever go without a few of the products that we use from there at this point. And that's just a part of their routine in between of when they come into the studio for their sugaring appointment.
Awesome. So just to recap, ladies, thank you so much for diving into the sugaringLA concept. To recap, this is a lower investment for a brick and mortar in the health, beauty, and wellness space, I've learned. You have the recurring revenue aspect. It is a minimal employee model. We really didn't dive into that, but given the number of rooms, perhaps a receptionist, lower employee model, it's a great concept for multi-unit ownership where you can put a GM in place and have it manager-run business. 5 corporate locations. So we didn't get to touch on the ROI, but if somebody wants to dive into this model and learn more, the 5 corporate locations who have proven the success of the model over and over, in the franchise disclosure document, there is P&L information for those locations. Which, if you guys, ladies, want to comment on that, I think it's pretty impressive because a lot of emerging brands do not give a look into the financials as extensively as sugaringLA.
Very true. Yeah. Go ahead, Marisa.
All I was going to say is I think that's very true. And what I was particularly impressed with is that this really isn't an emerging brand per se. She's been around for a long time. Her first business was open in 2011. So while it is an emerging franchise concept, she really has been able to prove, as you mentioned, really been able to prove this time and time again as she opened up all of her locations. So now what I find particularly exciting is that this is what she was able to do on her own. I'm incredibly excited to see what she's going to be able to do with all of the infrastructure and power and support behind her as we take this nationwide with the franchisee partners. But Rachel, go ahead. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
No, that's okay. And I agree with everything because it is true. It's not something that she thought this could be a good idea. Let me try and open one and then a year later franchise it. And she has made it through COVID. 40% of small businesses closed in California through COVID. She's open. None of her locations closed. So when we look at numbers, for instance, one of her locations with 3 rooms, it did about $912,000 in sales out of 3 rooms, and then 296 in net revenue, less kind of your core disclosed expenses. So all of those main bigger expenses. And we look at 2-room studios. There's a location that's 312 square feet with 2 rooms that did over $500,000 in sales. Again, we're looking at a really good return on that. So we know, especially when we're considering the franchise model and fine tuning and maybe not paying California wages, so we know what the potential is in this business. But what I love about the information we're sharing is we don't just have the kind of core P&L information, we can tell someone based on these locations, this is how many Brazilians they needed to do per day to break even, completely break even, all expenses. We can tell them the split of services and the split of services in revenue. So they can see where is my revenue coming from? Is it Brazilians? Is it other services? We talk about Brazilians a lot because it is a key part of the business. It's 50% or more of most of our studio's businesses. So that piece is there. And then we also have information about first-time customers. And that's really key when someone wants to think about, okay, if I can convert X% of first-time customers coming into the door to memberships, what does that look like for my bottom line? Because you're building on that each month. And again, I love recurring revenue memberships, especially those that you need to go back. This isn't a fitness membership where I'm going to try something new. Once you try sugaringLA, well, I need it. I'm not going to go anywhere else because I love it. So you're just building on that customer base over time. And the referral piece of it will be very large.
Great information. And thank you, ladies. I didn't know how comfortable you might be diving into some of that ROI. So that is fantastic information. And again, it's disclosed in the franchise disclosure document. So it's available for anybody going through the process to learn more, to gain visibility into. And Marisa, you are absolutely right. I say emerging brand. I know in my mind I'm talking franchises, but this is a tried and true business model, that's been in business for quite some time. It's been replicated over and over. So it definitely is in the emerging in the franchise space as an opportunity now available to others. So on that note, thank you ladies so much for joining me today. I am looking forward to helping sugaringLA grow and bringing some qualified, interested candidates your way. For anybody listening, if you are interested in learning more about sugaringLA, please feel free to reach out to me at Stacie@fusionfranchising.com. Thanks and have a great day.